You were never chosen first. Not in love, not in friendships, not in the places where you kept on showing up for years, hoping and praying that someday, somehow, things would be different. And that realization can sit with a person quietly for years, because that's a form of grief. And that type of grief doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like a tension that you learned to live with. And it shows up when you are always the understanding person, when you wait for others to make decisions that impact you and your life, when you tell yourself that you are asking for too much and you teach yourself not to ask for too much, when you adjust your expectations before voicing them out of fear that if you are seen as demanding, as wanting too much, then you will lose the little that you already have. So you continue to shrink yourself and dismiss your own needs. But then you realize that you are included oftentimes, but rarely ever prioritized. You realize that you are appreciated, but easily replaced all at the same time. And this kind of grief is very sharp, especially when it comes down to romantic relationships. Let me tell you, it cuts like a knife, because you notice that you loved deeply while feeling like an option, like a backup plan, like a space holder. You notice that you stayed loyal while sensing their hesitation. You waited for clarity, clarity that never arrived, and you stuck through it all, through the mental, emotional, physical, emotional abuse. You stuck and you stayed when you did everything for them, when you bent over, when you worked yourself to the bone, and you provided and protected all by yourself, and they tell you, I didn't ask you to do this for me. You chose to do this for me. When they throw everything that you did, albeit without conditions attached, right back into your face. And you do that because somewhere along the lines, while you were growing up, you learned that love was conditional. You learned that it depended on mood, on the perfect timing, on convenience. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. You learned to stay and to unravel in that ball of confusion without demanding certainty. You repeatedly mistake breadcrumbs for effort because you are anxious. You're so anxious. You have such a strong crave or desire to be chosen, to be acknowledged, to feel wanted. And so you continue to give, to over explain, to do everything, to carry the load all by yourself. And it gets even worse because this kind of grief also follows you into your friendships. When you are the strong friend, the friend who is there to celebrate everybody else's milestone, the friend who is the listening ear, the shoulder to lean on, the friend who comforts and consoles. But then you notice when it's your time, nobody shows up, nobody has time for you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever achieved something monumental, like a great feat, a milestone if you may, and when you tell it to your friends and your family and even your spouse, they diminish your feelings, they diminish your accomplishment? They make it seem as if what you have succeeded at is trivial, is mediocre, is meaningless, could be done by any and everyone, so it doesn't matter. That causes grief. That causes deep grief. You notice when your life is unraveling, when life is lifing and you feel as if it is being pulled from underneath you, that nobody is there to even lend a listening ear. You have no shoulder to lean on, and that can cause a lot of confusion. It follows you into work as well. It shows up when you clock in every day, when you work yourself to the bare bone, when you are committed to getting the job done, when you are loyal to the company, when you carry the weight, when you go above and beyond, when you work those extra hours, but you start to realize that recognition feels inconsistent, and you notice that opportunities quietly pass you by, and then you start to wonder, why is it that being reliable does not translate to being valued? I'm here to let you know that those two variables are on the opposite end of the spectrum. A lot of people love responsibilities, but only when it benefits them. So for you, they want the access without the responsibilities. Because if they were to take on those responsibilities, then it wouldn't be benefiting them, or at least in their eyes, it won't be benefiting them. I challenge you to stop over functioning and see what happens. Stop doing, stop acting on impulse, stop explaining, stop showing up. I guarantee you that people, having noticed, will come running, but they're not coming because they miss you or because they value you. They are coming because you are no longer performing a function that elevated their life, and they'll try to reel you back in and pull you back into that pattern. Stand strong on your boundaries. Stand strong on your boundaries. For many people, this pattern started at an early age, not because they weren't worthy, but because attention was divided, because affection was inconsistent, because presence was stretched thin. So they learned to wait and to be patient, and most importantly, to never ask for more than what was offered to them. And this plays out in our relationships, in our affections, especially where we bend ourselves over backward for people who wouldn't lift a finger for us. Hear me when I tell you that you're not doing this because you are broken, but because you learned that uncertainty, or that love or being chosen was uncertain. There was no guarantee that you'd ever come first. There can be a shift though. All is not lost. But that shift starts with realizing and understanding that the deepest pain in all of this isn't about others not choosing you. The deepest pain comes with realizing at what point and how often you learned that being optional was okay. It comes with realizing how often and when you learned to stay in situations that did not serve you, to stay in situations that diminished your feelings, that diminished your needs, that postponed your needs and your wants and your desires, that made you feel small, that made you feel like you are nobody, that made you feel that you dare ask for more than what is offered or given, not because you were unworthy, but because worth and being chosen, being prioritized, was never mirrored back to you while you were growing up. If this message feels familiar, I want to let you know that you are not asking for too much. In fact, you need to start asking for more. Start asking for more. Being chosen, being prioritized shouldn't feel unfamiliar. It shouldn't come as a surprise. But if it hasn't happened as yet, and it will, but if it hasn't happened consistently as yet, then the hardest work, the hardest part now is not working to earn it. No, because love isn't performative. Being chosen isn't a performance. It isn't in over explaining and overdoing. You cannot buy love. You cannot buy being chosen. And a lot of times when we do these things, we find ourselves in relationships without enthusiasm. We find ourselves single in relationships, single in our marriages, in one-sided friendships. We find ourselves being the backup plan in people's lives, the crutch. Don't you dare be anybody's crutch. Don't you dare be anybody's crutch. If this message resonates with you, then you need to start living. Stop abandoning yourself whilst waiting for others to make a decision. Start meeting people where they are at. The level of access that you give to those people should be reflected in the level of effort and respect that you get from them. Get into the habit of loving and seeing and respecting people from afar. You don't have to bring them into your circle. You don't have to bring them into your life. And you definitely don't need to feel guilty about whatever decisions you will make. You don't need to feel guilty about your choices. You need to do what feels best for you and in your life. Take that trip. Go to that restaurant, take yourself on a date, buy that drink, buy that dress, buy that shoes, buy that bag, enroll in that class, go back to school, explore life outside of what is familiar, what you are used to, outside of your comfort zone. Push yourself, albeit a little at a time. Try something new. Live life on your terms. You don't need to be affected by others' opinion. Damn if you do, and damn if you don't. So you might as well do it anyways. But don't force anybody to choose you, because you are a unique individual. You are a gem. You know, when I was in primary school, we learned this gem, and it says, no one looks the way I do. I have noticed that is true. No one walks the way I walk. No one talks the way I talk. No one says the things I say. I am special. I am me. And there's no one I'd rather be than me. You are unique. You're not going to die if you're not chosen. Well, you might. Because if you are chosen by the wrong person, that's a whole other kettle of fish. So choose yourself first. Live on your own accord. Live freely. A lot of people just exist in this life. They don't live. They just exist. They pass each day, day by day. Start living and stop existing. Stop waiting on others to determine the trajectory of your life. If you were here with me today, thank you. If this message feels familiar, leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Until next time, walk good.